A reading from Colossians. May you be made strong with all the strength that comes from His glorious power, and may you be prepared to endure everything with patience, while joyfully giving thanks to the Father, who has enabled you to share in the inheritance of the saints in the light. He has rescued us from the power of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of His beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. He's the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. For in Him all things in heaven and on earth were created, things visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or powers. All things have been created through Him and for Him. He Himself is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. He is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, so that He might come to have first place in everything. For in Him all the fullness of God was pleased to dwell, and through Him God was pleased to reconcile to Himself all things, whether on earth or in heaven, by making peace through the blood of His cross. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
So far we call Christ the King and all that, but like Robin Hood Wolf and somebody called Aldor. Maybe it's like, what a narrow line, the horrible Messiah. No, this is. But Jesus later hit him with the king and all that. He was crucified. When he rose from this, everything came all together. It was a beautiful wedding and all that. It was held on Christmas Eve. It says no camel work for them. It's the book of war. Placed all that pretty stuff on the trees. All the kids were Jerusalem. The little church ever was nicer. There was no rest for those outcasts and all that. So we found going up north, up to the North Pole. Well, everybody believed in other things. It's also because they had to go through. Pretty much as time passed to the king, the evil king, kind of died off without the power. By people began to rise as a dangerous result of efforts of war and terrorism. All they had to laugh, well, forgot all about it. The worldly people did the Cowboys religion. That's why it's called Santa Claus. That's why it's called Jesus. That's why we have Christmas. That's why we have Hanukkah. Basically, it turned into conversation and all that. Eventually, we decided to keep these journeys to 1 year. When to do it. Wonder. It wasn't a hard decision to make. They chose the holy side of the year. That's what called love. Perfect by the beginning. Christmas. That's what all strong.
Just got down from the cross. Please, be seated.
Why didn't He just come down from the cross? And of course I also wonder, what if He had? What then? What if, just as the soldier was mocking him with the call to save himself, he did indeed remove his arms and legs from the instrument of his destruction, drop to the ground, lift himself to stand tall and upright, look the dazed man in the eye and say, "As you wish." What then, I wonder? Aside from the few who happen to be standing nearby, the few who happen to even be looking in the direction, the few who were the least bit interested, would anybody really care? Would others really believe what they were told by the dazzled and confused witnesses atop that hill of death? Or would those witnesses become exceedingly suspect in their observations. Although the soldiers may report to their superiors what they saw, would they be hailed as visionaries or punished as slackers who looked the other way while Jesus just simply escaped? Let's imagine even that Jesus did come down from the cross and in the full view of the people marched triumphantly back into the city with the king and the governor and the religious leaders of the day simply concede their power, acknowledge their terrible mistake, and open the throne room to this ragged man they so recently condemned to die a criminal's death. I'm sorry, my mistake. Please, take my throne. I doubt such humility comes with such positions of power. That sort of humility seems more apparent to me in the one on the cross. So, what sort of king might Jesus be? I cannot imagine him acting in the way that many others do who have borne that title. Would Jesus have acted solely in his own interests? Would he have forcibly consolidated his power? Would he have used deception and trickery or diplomacy, things to manipulate his subjects? Jesus stepped down from the cross to claim his kingdom on earth. I imagine he would have been met with the same ire, the same suspicion and rejection that he met before he was lifted upon it. And the rulers of the world would cling to their power, nurture their pride, and do all they could to preserve their positions of privilege and authority. And the people would align themselves with power and with awe and with strength and with armies. And then what would our king do? Would Jesus arm his followers, marshal his own army, and storm their palaces and their temples, destroying the threat to his kingdom and setting himself upon the pinnacle of world dominance? I mean, think about it even in our day. What would it take for Jesus to be king in our time? Would people listen to him? Would the superpowers of the world listen to his message of a peaceable kingdom of God any more now than they did so long ago? Would Jesus, the world king, get anywhere if he dropped in on the North Koreans and commanded them to voluntarily hand over their nuclear weapons? Or if he visited the insurgents in Iraq and Afghanistan and demanded a complete ceasefire? Or if he dined in the White House and called for an immediate doubling of humanitarian spending throughout the world? Would he get anywhere with that? I don't know, but I doubt it. Such a king, as those Roman soldiers knew so long ago, was of an entirely different sort from the king they saw enthroned upon the cross. That king upon the cross knew that his power would not be realized in the ways of the world, but would only be realized in another, perhaps unexpected way. Sometimes, I think we just want Jesus to take care of everything for us. Like that thief on the cross who just wanted to be saved. We want Jesus to overwhelm the circumstances surrounding our lives and with a miraculous wave of the hand, make it all right. Topple these evildoers, make people do the right thing, give us comfort in our families, force us to love our neighbors. I mean, can't the world just be good? And only good. There is a great difference between compulsion and love. There is a difference between coercive power and love. There is a difference between codependency and love. A king who would feign to attend to all our needs while removing our own responsibilities and choices is no king at all. He is an idol or a tyrant. And maybe sometimes we think that's easier. Yet not all things will go forever as we would wish. Some would never be fully satisfied. Without the hearts of the people Without their deliberate and decided love and devotion, even in the midst of hardship, such a king then is doomed to pass away, to become no more than history or legend. What of Jesus? He could wow the peoples by stepping down from the cross, but he could not win their hearts forever by what he did on that single day. I think Jesus knew that a king who built his kingdom on such fleeting moments can only come to a dead end. Such a kingdom would not withstand the test of time. But he knew also that there was something that does. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Today, this final Sunday of the Christian year, we celebrate Christ the King. This king did not choose to serve his own interests, or revel in his power, or overwhelm his enemies by force. This king chose to stay upon a cross. We believe it was for the sake of love. We believe that he offers that love freely as a gift, and we in turn have the power to offer the same to others. How then would people know about Christ the King? Well, through the testimony and the actions of his loyal subjects.
Jesus, Santa Claus, and all that. Most people who do believe with Jesus, Santa Claus probably go crazy. So some people think they're crazy and all that, but some things. Some people are simple and sad. A little saddest, maybe so. But this Santa Claus probably trying to cure, probably trying to serenade. Not much of a breed. Most people wouldn't be like Santa Claus. Or to give is only he can give. Ourselves, and our talents, and our love, and our hearts. Maybe we all learned the Bible list of God and Santa Claus, and there probably would be peace on earth. And we'll put that. Okay, it's getting late. I've got a lot of Christmas shopping to do. A lot to do. You better get home too. And remember, behave yourself. Santa Claus is still looking for his magic set to see just what you're up to. Just remember, Santa Claus is coming to town. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and he's checking it twice. He's got to find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'll tell you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. With little tin horns, little toy drums, Rudy Toot Toots and Robbie Tum Tums. Santa Claus is coming to town. And curly-haired dolls at Tall and Coo, elephants, boats, and kitty cars too. Santa Claus is coming to town. The kids in Girlland, Boyland will have their jubilee. They're gonna build a toyland town all around the Christmas tree. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you what. Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming. Santa Claus is coming to town. Doo doo.